Hi Thomas, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. How do you reflect on the club's start to the season? A win, a loss and a draw?
In general terms, 7 out of 10, I would say. Very pleased with the comeback against Leicester. So I think there was a lot of positive in that last bit of the game. Obviously, a very good performance against Man United. And then I think in spells against Fulham, especially from minute 20 to minute 75, I think we were good. And then a good cup win, good cup performance. So overall, I think a decent 7 out of 10. We aim for 10 out of 10.
Are you able to welcome back Christopher Ajer this week? I know he's currently playing in a behind closed doors friendly.
Yeah, that's very positive. He's playing in 25 minutes. So that's very good news. Looking forward to integrating him in the squad again, and obviously he's an important player for us.
And Sergi Canos, is he ready to be part of a matchday squad yet?
No, unfortunately not. Still struggling a tiny bit. So it's a minor thing in the end of the hamstring issue he had. So not a setback. It's just not been going as quick as we hoped for. But hopefully a couple of weeks.
And finally, on that note, any fresh concerns following the Colchester game or in training this week?
No, the two that went out of the game with a minor injury, Keane, Louis Potter and Mads Rorslev, is available for selection.
Mikkel Damsgaard played in his first game for Brentford in the week, and you said that was part of a bigger plan for him. Is he in contention to start tomorrow?
To start, it would be too early. It's about adding layers to the physical condition, and we're playing with a different intensity, different league, new club. Pleased with the steps he's taking, but a start would be too early.
Is it a case of managing expectations with him, because last season was so difficult, only had 12 matches with that really bad injury?
Yeah, of course. I think all of you have saw him. Let's say that standout performance against England in the semi-final, not only because of the fantastic free kick goal, but also his defensive side of it, his offensive involvement and so on. That's what we aim for. But he's been out for a year and almost haven't played any football last year, and a disrupted pre-season. So it will take a little bit of time. He's impatient, I'm impatient, we're all impatient, but we need to take good, sensible decisions.
Last week you spoke about being really pleased with the squad, but that you'd look if the right player was available. Are you expecting any more players to come in before the deadline next Thursday?
It's a transfer window, everything can happen. So same message, we are still open for players coming in. We are not desperate, we are not in need for players in a specific position, but we are out there.
We understand that Neal Maupay is undergoing a medical at Everton and may be available for the game tomorrow. How would you feel about the prospect of come up against your old player?
Now, I really like Neal as a player and as a person. I think he's a good player, a very good player. So of course we know him well. If he should come on the pitch for tomorrow, I look forward to compete against him and give him a hug after.
Are you expecting Anthony Gordon to be starting tomorrow for Everton? So much speculation around him at the moment.
I think Frank can answer that question better than me. But if you ask for my opinion, I think he will start.
And finally, what do you make of the talk around £60 million for somebody like Anthony Gordon, somebody so early on in his career at this stage, but a huge amount of money being talked around him?
This is not for Gordon. I think in general, the price for players is too high in general. I think it's gone through the roof, and it's not. So you say, that's the new valuation. So they need to be higher and higher and higher. I know everything is going up, but if you ask me, I think some of the players have been sold for different amounts, not going into details, but in my opinion, humble opinion, I think is way too much in many of the situations.
Thanks, Thomas.
You're welcome.
Mikkel.
Hi.
You gave your start to the season a 7 out of 10. I just wondered, is that partly because of the 8 goals that you've scored? Only Arsenal and Manchester City have scored more. How impressed are you with the attacking returns so far?
Very impressed with the attacking side of the game, definitely. I think, I can't remember, was it before Colchester? I think, Jay, we spoke about, we scored last year, we scored 3 goals and conceded 1. So I like to concede only 1 goal and then score 8. Then I think we would have had 9 points instead of 4. But the offensive part is something we're very pleased with. You can never take for granted that the defensive side of the game, that's normally an area we are good at. So it's something we constantly need to work on, constantly to improve in many areas. But no doubt the offensive part of it is a big thing, right? 7. I think the overall performance, I think we played much more good minutes than bad minutes. That's why we're going towards that. So, yeah.
You mentioned there that potentially the defensive side of things need to be improved on. Are there any other areas you've pinpointed that you'd like to see improvements on going forward?
It's early days, so of course we always analyze in depth every game, sometimes too much, and put too much reason behind if there's made a mistake or something has happened. But I think in general, I like us to cut a few of the defensive, I don't say errors, but sharpen the defensive side of the game. That's everything from middle pressure, low block defending, defensive set pieces, so on. I think that's an area we need to be top on to get points in this league.
I wanted to know what you thought of Everton's start to the season and what you managed to see. They're still yet to get their first win, only 1 point on the board.
I think I watched the 3 games they played in the league. I think they played a good and even game against Chelsea. There was a penalty that decided that game. That could have gone either way. Chelsea were more on the ball, but that's not the same as they were more dangerous. They created more chances. Then they created Then they played Villa, where they showed again how difficult they are to play against. They give very little away in established defence. And I think they're unlucky not to come away with 2-2 after they reduced with the own goal from, was it Digne? So I think again they showed they're a very difficult team to play against. And then I think they deserved more in the game against Nottingham. Of course, when you go down in the 80th minute and you then come back, it's a good point. I think they show what I knew before. They are very, very solid and difficult to break down, and they have a lot of pace up front. And very, very good on the transitions.
They also have a few injuries in their squad. What kind of game are you expecting tomorrow? Because last season you picked up all 6 points against them.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 different games, of course, also 2 different managers, but I think the second was a mad one in many ways, a crazy game. So I don't think we can compare too much with that one, also because played 11 against 10 for so long. I expect what I've seen from the first 3 games, it will be very tight. They lost 1-0, 2-1 and draw 1-1, so a very, very tight game tomorrow. I think if we can keep a clean sheet, that'll be important because I don't think there'll be many goals in the game.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thomas, I seem to remember that home game against Everton. It felt like an important win at the time. Do you want your players and the fans to ensure that the home games have that kind of same intensity and importance, that people don't take your position for granted, given all that you've done, and obviously the first home game of the season, which was amazing?
Yeah, we definitely need to be on it, and I think we created a decent fortress at our home ground, and we like to make it very difficult to come and play here at GTEC Community Stadium. We have to. It's here where we need to pick a lot of points. And I know with our fans, when they've been really on, I think in general they've been really good. They can create a incredible atmosphere, and we need that tomorrow as well. So can we play with that energy and intensity and on the front foot? Then I know that I think actually more or less all games, I can't remember, more or less all games we made it very difficult at home for every team last year.
I know you have that 24-hour rule, but it must be still everyone talking about it, certainly amongst the fan base that are coming back tomorrow, that was one of the great days in the club's history.
Yeah, no doubt, and I understand it's a little bit funny because in some ways football don't have a history, because you're just, when you ask me now, I think, wow, that's ages ago since you played Man United, because there's been 2 games in between, and you're going forward, so that's long gone, and we can't use it to too much. On the flip side, the fans, they not live in the past, not at all. They live in the present 100% because they're ready for tomorrow. But they will, that moment, that day will always be in their memories, and a fantastic memory. So that's what we try to do: create fantastic memories, and hopefully a lot of them, so we can get a lot of points.
Talking about Everton, you mentioned their strengths. Do you feel that Cody and Tarkowski, they brought in 2 big characters, strong defenders, Premier League experience, to give them that stability that maybe they were lacking a bit last season?
I don't know. But looking from the outside, I think Cody came because they got an injury to Mina as well. Ben Godfrey, yeah, and Mina. I think that's why they took Cody. And I think, by the way, in that middle of the 3 as a centre back, I think he's been brilliant. Leader, experienced defender, and very good on the ball. He can pick a pass from there every single time. Tarkowski, is well known both for Brentford fans, but also for his time in Burnley, being a top defender in Premier League.
And I was going to ask as well about the last league game, because you had the great comeback. It looked like it might possibly lead to a win and all 3 points. What did you take out of that game? Because there must have been a lot of things to go through from the start, which didn't seem very much like your team, and then obviously you had a strong comeback.
I think football is moments, and the funny thing, we actually start the first 20 seconds. Make a trained opening, Jensen ball in behind for Rico, almost in, then we go the other way, bad clearance, another bad decision, running down, sprinting under, a little bit of deflection, flip a game in there, boom, 1-0 down, and then Fulham were on top of the game, concede on a set piece, which we need to do better. And from there, I'm very pleased with our performance and attitude, which I think is remarkable. Not many teams are coming back from 2-0 down, and we can't rely on every week. So I don't want to go down 2-0 tomorrow. Of course, I believe we'll come back, but I prefer just to go home and take it home from Plan A. But I think because of the positive in coming back, I think that made it in some way, not straight after, that was unbelievable painful, but after that, when we analysed the game and watched it back, there was a lot of positives that I took away from the game.
Thank you very much. Can I just ask about the League Cup draw, what you made of it? I know it's quite a long way away.
We want to go as far as possible, so then you wish for a home game and against the, on paper, weakest opponent. So box ticked, and now we need to do the job in November.